tingle down your spine when these wheels start to spin. There ain't no place I would rather be right now when our journey's about to begin. All your doubts and hesitation, second thought, well, just let 'em go now. Just let 'em go when the wheels are set in motion. Blue skies above, so why don't you come along on this ride? Wheels are set in motion, and you hit those engines roar. Are you ready? Get on board, get on board. And if you wonder where this road will lead, well, trust in me now. Trust in me when the wheels are set in motion. Blue skies above, so why don't you come along on this ride? Wheels are set in motion, and you hear those engines roar. Are you ready? Get on board, get on board. Wheels are set in motion. Blue skies above, so why don't you come along on this ride? Wheels are set in motion, and you hear those engines roar. Are you ready? Get on board, get on board. I would rather be right now.
Volvo, Bosch,
About to begin. All your doubts and
Audi, Bosch,
second thought, well,
Opel, Bosch.
Did you know that Bosch has developed much of the technology found in almost all cars? When necessary, we think we're best at servicing them too. Welcome to Bosch Car Service.
Renault, Bosch,
We have lots of different customers with all sorts of cars, and they all come to us for different reasons. Bosch Car Service will keep your car where it's meant to be, on the road, because we give you guaranteed quality at a fair price for all makes and models. So whatever you need, servicing, checking your brakes, an oil change, or a new exhaust system, Bosch Car Service. Fair price and best advice for all vehicles.
Bosch, invented for life. The MOT inspection is designed to make sure your vehicle meets all the legal requirements for safe road use. Lights are inspected to make sure that they have the correct color, that all required lights illuminate, and that the headlight aim is set correctly. The steering and suspension systems are examined to make sure there are no fluid leaks or excessive free play in the components such as track rod ends and ball joints. The windscreen is checked for cracks that could limit visibility, and the function of the wiper and washer system is tested. Seat belts are inspected for tears and correct operation of latches. The integrity of the fuel system is checked to ensure there are no potentially dangerous leaks. The exhaust is also checked for leaks and to ensure mountings are secure. The gases leaving the exhaust are measured to ensure compliance with emissions regulations. The body and structure of the vehicle are inspected for excessive rust, and the function of door latches and handles is tested. The correct tire type must be fitted, and tread depth must be above the legal minimum. The condition and function of the handbrake and brake pedal are tested, and braking efficiency is measured on a rolling road where the vehicle type permits. When your Bosch-trained mechanic performs a bronze lubricant service on your vehicle, 31 items are inspected or serviced. Exterior lights and dashboard warning lamps are checked for correct operation. Wipers are checked to make sure the screen is kept streak-free and the screen wash is refilled. The engine oil is drained and refilled with new oil according to manufacturer specifications. The oil filter is replaced and the engine is visually inspected for oil leaks. The engine coolant level is checked, and the condition and strength of the antifreeze is measured. The cooling system is checked for leaks. On engines with a timing belt, the manufacturer's replacement interval is checked, and replacement is recommended if required. Next, we move on to the brake system. The operation of the brake servo is checked, along with the condition and boiling point of the brake fluid. The recommended brake fluid is added to the reservoir if required. Brake calipers, pads, discs, wheel cylinders, shoes, and drums are inspected for wear or damage, and brake hoses and lines are checked for corrosion or wear. The handbrake is checked to ensure that it applies and releases correctly. Areas checked in the steering and suspension system include road springs, the condition and level of the power steering fluid, and all major steering and suspension components including suspension struts and shock absorbers, control arms and ball joints, the steering rack, track rods and linkages, anti-roll bars, and anti-roll bar links. The operation of the clutch is tested on manual vehicles, and the transmission or gearbox is inspected for fluid leaks. The exhaust is checked for leaks and to ensure that mountings are secure. The condition and tread depth of all tires is measured, and tire pressures are checked and adjusted as required. Wheel nut torque is adjusted where necessary to meet manufacturer specification. Finally, the service reminder light is reset where fitted, and the service book is stamped.
For more than 3/4 of a century, Bosch innovations have been the driving force behind the development of the diesel engine, the first diesel injection system, and the first diesel direct injection system. In the common rail system, pressure generation and injection are separate. The result is a fuel saving of more than 30%, 25% less CO2, and 50% more torque than a comparable gasoline engine. In this way, Bosch technology makes diesel engines more economical, cleaner, and more powerful. The economical diesel engine is gaining ground in the automotive market. Today, a good 50% of all vehicles in Western Europe are diesels. Bosch is the world market leader, having sold more than 75 million common rail systems. Diesel is also helping emerging markets to become motorized while conserving resources and protecting the environment. The common rail diesel makes driving not only economical, but also more fun. Bosch, invented for life.
When your Bosch-trained mechanic performs a silver service on your vehicle, 49 items are checked or serviced. Exterior lights, reflectors, warning lamps, dash and heater control lights are all checked for correct operation. The battery condition and connections are checked to ensure consistent starting. The door and bonnet latches are checked, and locks and hinges are lubricated. Windscreen wipers are checked to make sure the screen is kept streak-free and the screen wash is refilled. Where the vehicle is fitted with a pollen filter, the filter is inspected to ensure clear airflow, and the aircon is checked for cooling efficiency. The engine oil is drained and refilled with new oil according to manufacturer specifications, the oil filter is replaced, and the engine is visually inspected for oil leaks. The engine air filter is replaced. The engine coolant level is checked, and the condition and strength of the antifreeze is measured. The coolant is topped off if required, and the cooling system is visually inspected for leaks. The condition and tension of accessory drive belts, such as the alternator belt, is checked, and the fuel system, including the tank and fuel cap, are inspected. On engines with a timing belt, the manufacturer's replacement interval is checked, and replacement is recommended if required. Next, we move on to the brake system. The operation of the brake servo is checked, along with the condition and boiling point of the brake fluid. The fluid level is topped off if required. Brake calipers, pads, discs, wheel cylinders, shoes and drums are inspected for wear or damage, and brake hoses and lines are checked for corrosion or wear. The operation of the handbrake and linkages are checked and adjusted where necessary. Areas checked in the steering and suspension system include the road springs, the condition and level of the power steering fluid, and all major steering and suspension components, including suspension struts and shock absorbers, control arms and ball joints, the steering rack, track rods and linkages, anti-roll bars and anti-roll bar links. The gaiters on the steering rack are inspected for tears or cracking, and the shock absorbers are inspected for leaks or damaged mountings. Wheel bearings are inspected for looseness or excessive free play and road noise. The rubber gaiters on the driveshaft joints are checked for cracks or tears that could allow their lubricating grease to escape. The fluid level inside the gearbox and differentials is checked, along with the operation of the clutch on manual vehicles. The transmission or gearbox is also checked for fluid leaks. The exhaust is checked for leaks, and to ensure that mountings are secure, the condition and tread depth of all tires is measured, and tire pressures are checked and adjusted as required. Wheel nut torque is adjusted where necessary to match manufacturer's specification. A scan of the engine management system is performed, the service reminder light is reset where fitted, and the service book is stamped.
got a new track record here. Congrats, nice job.
I was fast. I kicked the gas, went straight into the curve, left, along left, 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 right, left, right, left.
Hey, they're waiting for you to start the next round. But this time, without ESP.
Again? Me?
When your Bosch-trained mechanic performs a gold service on your vehicle, 55 items are checked or serviced. Exterior lights, headlight alignment, reflectors, warning lamps, dash and heater control lights are all checked for correct operation. The battery condition and connections are checked to ensure consistent starting, and the security and output of the alternator are tested. The door and bonnet latches are checked, and locks and hinges are lubricated. Wipers are checked to make sure the screen is kept streak-free and the screen wash is refilled. Where the vehicle is fitted with a pollen filter, the filter is inspected to ensure clear airflow, and aircon is checked for cooling efficiency. The engine oil is drained and refilled with new oil according to manufacturer specifications. The oil filter is replaced, and the engine is visually checked for oil leaks. The engine air filter is replaced. The engine coolant level is checked, and the condition and strength of the antifreeze is measured. Engine coolant is added to the system if required, and the cooling system is visually inspected for leaks. The condition and tension of accessory drive belts, such as the alternator belt, is checked, and the spark plugs are replaced if required based on the vehicle mileage. On vehicles with adjustable valves, the clearance between the cam lobes and the valves is measured and adjusted as required. The fuel system, including the tank and fuel cap, are inspected, and where an external fuel filter is fitted, the filter is replaced. On vehicles with a timing belt, the manufacturer's replacement interval is checked, and replacement is recommended if required. Next, we move on to the brake system. The operation of the brake servo is checked, along with the condition and boiling point of the brake fluid. The recommended brake fluid is added to the reservoir if required. Brake calipers, pads, discs, wheel cylinders, shoes, and drums are inspected for wear or damage, and brake hoses and brake lines are checked for corrosion or wear. The operation of the handbrake and security of linkages are checked, and adjustments to the handbrake are made when necessary. Areas checked in the steering and suspension system include road springs, the condition and level of the power steering fluid, and all major steering and suspension components, including suspension struts and shock absorbers, control arms and ball joints, the steering rack, track rods and linkages, anti-roll bars, and anti-roll bar links. The gaiters on the steering rack are inspected for tears or cracking, and the shock absorbers are inspected for leaks or damaged mountings. Wheel bearings are inspected for looseness or excessive free play and road noise. The rubber gaiters on the driveshaft joints are checked for cracks or tears that could allow lubricating grease to escape. The fluid level inside the gearbox and differentials is checked, along with the operation of the clutch on manual vehicles. The transmission or gearbox is also inspected for fluid leaks. The exhaust is checked for leaks, and to ensure that mountings are secure, the condition and tread depth of all tires is measured, and tire pressures are checked and adjusted as required. Wheel nut torque is adjusted to match manufacturer's specification. Finally, a scan of the engine management system is performed, the service reminder light is reset where fitted, and the service book is stamped.
You might speak planning a holiday or just a simple day out? A jaunt to the seaside, a trip to the theme park, or that camping holiday in France? And the last thing you want to go wrong is the car that's getting you there. Which is why I've come to a Bosch car service garage to find out how to avoid those motoring nightmares. A safe journey starts here. These modern cars, all their warning lights and computer messages, have come a long way since the old change the points and condenser days.
Yeah, you're right, Tiff. They're absolutely packed with electronics now, which makes it difficult for the owner-driver to do their own maintenance.
So what is all plug-in computer diagnostics and stuff?
It is. I mean, that's not everything, but when you open the bonnet now on a modern-day car, it's absolutely covered in plastic. You can't recognise anything.
Well, let's open the bonnet and just see what you can do on your own.
Absolutely. So all we can really do nowadays, check our oil level, check our brake fluid level, check our coolant, and make sure that the washer bottle's full.
The all-important screen washers. And is that it?
Yeah, I'm afraid now that's all we can pretty much do under the bonnet. So elsewhere on the car, we can take a look at the wiper blades. Long before they'll split, they'll go soft. They should have a nice firm knife edge.
Okay, gone soft, replace them.
Yep. We may be lucky and have a warning light on the dashboard to show us that the brake pads are worn out. We may, as in this circumstance, have a little metal squeaker that will alert us to the brakes being worn out. If we've neither, the only choice is physically to remove the wheel.
Visually check the wear.
Exactly. Now, you could be mechanically minded and you could have a go at that yourself, but perhaps it's a job for a professional. So, to the garage, please.
At the same time as you're having a service done?
Yes, because the part of the service as well, we can plug into the diagnostic socket and we can check all of the computers on the car for faults.
Make sure nothing nasty is about to happen.
Exactly.
Just show me how that works then.
Yeah, sure.
All sorts can be read.
Absolutely.
So what can you learn from this computer box?
Anything really, from engine management, automatic gearbox, ABS, air conditioning, tyre management.
Yeah, you're right, I'm getting the idea now. A lot of things, the whole car process. Yeah. But I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated machine. Surely, how do you keep up with all the latest technical innovations?
Okay. Bosch offer a very rigorous training programme. We obviously get to use their test equipment as well. Not many people realise that on a modern-day car, most of the systems were either designed or made by Bosch in the first place. And so we get a bit of a heads up, a bit of a head start, really, on the other garages. Align that to the technical information that we get, and pretty much the car service network can look after your car, diagnose it effectively and quickly, and in the long run, will save you some money.
Well, thank you, Paul, for that advice. Get on with sorting my car now.
No problem.
Because what we've learnt today is how modern cars are becoming more and more sophisticated. Long gone are the days when you could take a manual off the shelf and service your car yourself. So if you are planning that special trip away, make sure you've taken your car to a reputable workshop and had it fully checked over. Because only that way will you minimise the chances of being stuck in the middle of nowhere with a car full of kids.
What kind of company sees continuity as a major source of strength? What kind of company orients to financial indicators, but also strongly to values? And what kind of company looks to the century-old convictions of its founder as a reliable guide to the complexities of our day, and even to those of our future? A special kind of company. Maybe that's why a company that belongs to a charitable foundation and the descendants of the founder can make so much sense. A company that doesn't issue quarterly reports or stock options or seek just to maximize its profits. A company whose entrepreneurial freedom and financial independence have paid off for many decades now. As has the legendary loyalty of its staff. A company that keeps its long-term commitments alive. Markets change, technologies change. But the values we orient to in our business dealings do not. Credibility has always been more important to us than money. But credibility cannot be bought or sold. It has to grow over time. It has to be earned, like our reputation for quality and reliability and legality. Maybe the motto of so many business people that the business of business is making a profit is somewhat, let's say, one-sided? Maybe. In any case, the business of Bosch is providing technological responses to the ecological issues of the day, providing technology invented for life. Profit is important, but it's not the only thing that is. Each year we spend some 4 billion euros for research and development. And each working day, we apply for an average of 15 patents, half of which are directly related to the environment. But we are not looking for a record number of patents, or even for record growth. What we want is to find a balance between what is good for the company and what is good for society and the earth. We have an obligation to future generations. For example, our injection and engine management systems help a lot to reduce polluted emissions in road traffic worldwide. We are also working hard on the drive systems of the future, especially for the electric car. Here we provide products, software and services, and high-tech infrastructures. And we save lives, and this in many ways. Our brake control system, ESP, keeps cars from skidding out of control, just as our predictive safety system reduces the severity of accidents. And the telemedical systems of our healthcare unit effectively reduce mortality among high-risk heart patients. What kind of company does it take to deliver innovations like these? A company with a special kind of workforce. Many of our associates worldwide are people who were born to create and who think instinctively in terms of customer benefit. These are people who work at the cutting edge. People whose first question is not how much they can earn, but instead, how much they can set in motion. We are currently faced with challenges unlike any the world has ever known. And we want to help the world meet them. We want to go beyond energy efficiency. We want to help reinvent the automobile and bring about the vision of emissions-free, sustainable mobility. We want to help bring about the vision of the house, which is self-sufficient in its energy needs. We are working on organic photovoltaics, which enables the outer skin of a vehicle or the facade of a building to double as a source of electrical power. In fact, harnessing the energy of the sun is the biggest challenge of all. Why that? Because the sunlight that falls on the surface of the Earth for a single hour is enough to satisfy the primary energy needs of the world for an entire year. Only for an hour. Just imagine. What if we could harness this gigantic source of energy in full and store it? A long shot? Maybe. But technically feasible, if only we can find answers to some highly complex questions. A natural task for a company that thrives on complexity, and has made energy conversion its core competence from day one. A privately owned company with vision, persistence, and financial clout. And with structures that support agility and quick decisions. A company that keeps its promises. A special kind of company. One that tries to balance its own interests with those of society and the earth, just as our founder, Robert Bosch, would have wanted. He embodied this balance. He also gave generously to society. And ever since the foundation that bears his name was set up in 1964, it has made over €1 billion available for civic initiatives in the fields of international understanding, healthcare, education, and much more. We are proud of this. Apart from the history of our innovations, it is one of the reasons we're here. We believe in social responsibility, just as we believe in our ability to find technological answers to the questions that matter. That's why we also believe that we are going to be around for a long time. What makes us so sure? 125 years of experience.
Drivers know start-stop systems from city traffic. The engine switches itself off while stopped at a traffic light. Bosch has now taken this principle one step further. The new electronic clutch also now allows the engine to be switched off while driving in order to save fuel.
We prevent the engine drag torque during driving, and we have a CO2 benefit up to 7% additionally in the WLTC. During driving at a traffic jam, we have a comfortable driving due to the electronic clutch at first and second gear, similar to an automatic transmission.
Even with a manual transmission, the car drives like an automatic, at least in first and second gear. Hybrid powertrains are also comfortable and efficient. The Boost recuperation system is the new entry-level hybrid from Bosch. It supports the internal combustion engine with 10 kilowatt and can recover energy extremely effectively.
The main benefit of the Boost recuperation system, first of all, is the CO2 reduction or fuel reduction in the WLTC over 15%. Further on, we have additional benefits like recuperation. During the braking phase, we are collecting energy, and afterwards this energy can be brought onto the road by the electrical machine with additional torque.
During boosting, the electric drive supports the combustion engine. This allows the car to accelerate more powerfully. In addition, the engine can be started quietly and with a minimum of vibration. The Boost recuperation system is thus not only more economical and better for the environment, it makes the car more fun to drive and comfortable to start.
Gasoline direct injection is an increasingly prevalent drive system for passenger cars worldwide. The growing demand for low fuel consumption and stricter emissions limits calls for innovative engine concepts. In 2020, 1/4 of all vehicles worldwide will be equipped with the gasoline direct injection system. Engines with gasoline direct injection create the air-fuel mixture right in the combustion chamber. This results in higher compression, thus improving efficiency. Torque and driving dynamics are increased, while emissions levels are reduced. In combination with turbocharging and downsizing, gasoline direct injection offers the potential of lowering fuel consumption and CO2 output by around 15%. Additional optimizations can be made with functional features such as scavenging and CVO. The Bosch offering for gasoline direct injection comprises coordinated systems technology, as well as a comprehensive portfolio of individual components. To supply fuel, Bosch offers the fuel supply module with an electric fuel pump, fuel tank, and medium pressure sensor. These components provide the necessary amount of fuel from the tank right up to the injection. The fuel is compressed by the high-pressure pump to the required pressure level of up to 200 bar and stored in the fuel rail. There, a high-pressure sensor measures the current pressure. Mounted on the fuel rail are high-pressure injectors that meter the fuel and spray it under high pressure right into the combustion chamber. Bosch injectors with innovative laser-drilled spray holes provide maximal flexibility in spray configuration while minimizing wall wetting in the combustion chamber. To achieve the best possible combustion, during gasoline direct injection, the air-fuel mixture is created right inside the combustion chamber. The intake air control supplies the engine with the correct amount of air mass at every operating point. One input variable is the amount of air taken in, which is measured by the hot film air mass flow sensor. Further on, the intake manifold low pressure sensor measures the air pressure. The throttle body controls the air supply to the engine cylinders by enlarging or reducing the diameter of the intake manifold. The air-fuel mixture requires an ignition spark to combust within the engine cylinder. For this, the ignition coils generate a high voltage of around 30,000 volts, store it briefly, then transfer it as a high-voltage current impulse to the spark plug. Turbocharging enables a larger air mass to enter the combustion chamber. Thus, more air-fuel mixture is combusted, improving performance. The exhaust gas turbocharger uses the energy of the exhaust to compress the intake air. With gasoline direct injection and exhaust gas turbocharger, engine displacement is reduced, enabling the implementation of downsizing concepts. The loss of engine performance resulting from reduced engine displacement is compensated by the turbocharging. Optimization of the individual operating points creates engines that deliver low fuel consumption and CO2 output with no loss of performance. Turbochargers require a certain minimum engine speed to attain their charge air pressure. If the speed is too low, a turbo lag occurs. Scavenging is the system innovation from Bosch that works to counteract turbo lag. To this end, the intake and exhaust valves are open simultaneously for a moment. This creates a dynamic pressure differential between the intake and exhaust sides of the engine. Fresh air flows into the combustion chamber and flushes the exhaust gas from the cylinder through the open exhaust valve towards the exhaust manifold. The increased flow of exhaust gas creates 50% more torque at low engine speeds, counteracting turbo lag. Bosch Engine Control supplies the numerous functions that an efficient engine management system must provide. The driver's wish for more or less torque is an important input variable for the electronic control. The accelerator pedal module supplies the driver's wish as a sensor signal. The crankshaft sensor registers the speed and position of the crankshaft. Additional data is provided by the knock sensor, the temperature sensor, and the camshaft sensor. Exhaust gas treatment from Bosch contributes to compliance with international emissions regulations. The planar wideband lambda sensor and the switching type sensor measure the oxygen content of the exhaust, thus providing the engine control unit with basic information for the correct mixture. Future legislation regarding particulate reduction presents new challenges for combustion engines. With the unique and innovative System Solution Controlled Valve Operation, or CVO, for engines with gasoline direct injection, Bosch has successfully employed mechatronics to make a major contribution to achieving compliance with future statutory emissions limits, such as Euro 6 and SULEV. Key components of CVO are the Bosch engine control unit and the Bosch high-pressure injector. Contrary to the conventional pilot-controlled injection, the control unit and high-pressure injector operate in a closed-loop system. During the injection, the control unit measures the activation signal and determines the opening and closing of the valve needle to compute the duration of the open phase. Thus, the electronic control unit can calculate the actual injection amounts of every injection and readjust if necessary. This type of closed-loop activation makes it possible to meter even the smallest injection amounts with minimal tolerances. The precision of the gasoline injection is thus significantly improved in this area and is maintained throughout the working life of the valve, guaranteeing a stable combustion procedure. Gasoline direct injection from Bosch is a key to clean and economical engines. Fuel consumption and emissions reductions, as well as increased driving dynamics, thanks to direct high-pressure fuel injection into the combustion chamber. In collaboration with automobile manufacturers on developing gasoline direct injection, Bosch contributes a comprehensive portfolio and many years of know-how. With over 50 million injectors and more than 10 million high-pressure pumps, we are now celebrating 2 impressive production anniversaries. Our system's competence enables us to achieve optimal networking of the individual components and thus maximal system benefits. As an innovation driver and technology leader, we continuously further develop gasoline direct injection. Our technological advancements, such as the System Innovation Controlled Valve Operation and laser-drilled spray holes, penetrate the market with mass production-ready products. Our components and systems for gasoline direct injection are designed for a high performance of up to 24,000 kilometers, a guarantee for quality and reliability. Unique in the automotive supply industry, we are present globally, close to our customers, with experts in the production, research and development of gasoline direct injection systems. From the development of new concepts to supplying spare parts, we foster long-term partnerships with our customers throughout the entire life cycle of their vehicles with gasoline direct injection.
Bosch, invented for life.
Spark plugs ensure smooth combustion of fuel in the engine. For more than 100 years, Bosch has stood for spark plugs whose quality, reliability, and innovativeness is unmatched. In 1902, Bosch filed a patent for a system comprising a spark plug and a high-voltage magneto. By providing reliable ignition for engines that were becoming ever faster, Bosch solved the greatest problem faced by the pioneers of automotive technology. Subsequently, cars also became more affordable. In 1953, the Bosch spark plug with 2-component center electrode went into series production in the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. The benefits were a more reliable cold start and longer service life. Spark plugs help the engine and catalytic converter run perfectly, an important contribution to cleaner, efficient, and more economical combustion. High quality and top performance, thanks to the use of special designs and materials. About 300 million spark plugs are made each year. This makes more than 10 billion since production began. Over 100 years of know-how and innovation make Bosch the European market leader for spark plugs. Bosch, invented for life.